Welcome to B.A.Showoff, the Dance Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Becky.
And I'm Alexandra. And whether you're a dance coach, dance parent, or a dancer yourself, this is the show for you. Today, we're going to be introducing Nyah Gonzalez, current FSU head coach and current UDA staff member.
Welcome, Nyah.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you for being here with us today. So tell us a little bit about your dance journey and how you got started in this dance team world.
Yeah, so I grew up in a studio. I didn't start until 5th grade, so it was a little bit later. But then after that, I fell in love. I started competing in 5th grade as well, danced all through middle school. And then come high school, I went to Winter Park. We didn't have a dance team. So me and my friend who had just moved really wanted to start one. We did the whole sign-up petition, all the things. Found Joyce Winter was her mom, and she helped us start that dance team and coached us. And then I fell in love from there. And then I had the aspirations of becoming a Golden Girl at Florida State because I knew I wanted to stay in state. Then did 4 years on the team, started UDA staff, and just fell in love with the dance team world. And I've been in it ever since.
And now you're the coach. How has that been, the transition from being on the team to coaching the team?
It's been something so wild, I guess you could say. I never thought that I would start coaching, but then towards like my senior year, I was a captain on the team and kind of was like, oh, I'm not done yet. Like I want to be able to come back and coach. Like I do love it, and I love leading people and all of that sort of thing. So I left for a year. I did choreography for a while, still am, but that's kind of what I focused on. And I would go back and help consult them, work with them, all of that sort of thing. And then it kind of just fell into my lap, and it was like, hey, this assistant job opened up if you want that. And I did, and I loved it. And now I'm the head coach, and it's just been honestly a dream come true, like a dream you didn't realize you had until it's in front of you. And then you're like, wow, this is everything I could have ever imagined.
And do you guys have tryouts? Do you do like official tryouts? How do you pick your team members?
We are recruitment based. So you submit a video. Around January is when we start, because we don't have pull on getting you into the school. So we don't like to do it too early, because then we're all kind of just like waiting on those acceptances. So come January, we do our first round of videos. It's a qualifying video. They'll send in some technique combos, any contemporary hip hop, that sort of solos. And then after that, about a couple weeks, then we will move on to the second round. So if you make it to the second round, we send out combos, game day material, a jazz combo and a hip hop combo. They do that. Then after that, we move into our interview. And then from there, it's kind of a case-by-case basis. So we start offering spots, we start cutting people, we start, depending if people take their spots, however many we have open, that sort of thing. It kind of depends from there. You might have extra interviews, you might have to submit more videos, but we are recruitment-based. And then as far as people returning to the team, they have to be asked back every year.
So how do you go through the recruitment? So if I'm not on a dance team and I want to go to FSU, how would you recruit me? Or how would I find out about what to do?
All on our website. It's also linked in our link tree. It has all the steps listed out. There's a recruitment form that they submit. We've also been trying to go to more like studio things. We've had a lot of connections to a lot of studios in Florida, so that's been really awesome. And then we started attending Revel. We went to the Dance Awards, that sort of thing. So we're really trying to branch into that side as well, especially because Florida has so much talent. So we want to really be able to reach those people in studio who might not know about dance team as well.
And have you guys joined the Common App?
We have not. However, that is something I would really love to do. With the whole transition this year, we weren't able to join in time for the deadline and all of that sort of stuff. But that is something I'm definitely interested in joining into next year.
And when did FSU go from actual having those tryouts to doing the recruitment process? Because I remember years ago when it was a tryout base, you had to go one day or spend a whole weekend there.
Yeah, so actually my year joining the team was the last year that we had in-person auditions. So that was 2019. I know, thank God, because the talent these days in videos is just so much. So I commend those kids. But so we started, that was the last year of in-person auditions, was 2019. Come 2020 with COVID, everyone was submitting video auditions, but vets included. Same thing with 2021. We were still submitting videos even as vets, just we started in the second round. And then come 2023, we went solely recruitment based.
And do you like it better as a coach? Do you think it's a better process?
Yeah, I do really love it. I'm really looking to add an in-person round, because I do really miss that part of watching the new potential hopefuls dance with the vets and all of that sort of thing, because truly too, you could be so talented, but if you're not the right fit for the team, then you're just not the right fit for the team. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be on a team somewhere, just might not be ours. So,
yeah. And there's something to be said of, people do videos and they could do it over and over and over until it looks perfect. When you're there in person, it's like, okay, let's see what you could do right now, because when you go to nationals, it's that one shot.
Right.
So you want to make sure that the dancer could do it in that one moment. So.
Yeah, especially with the pressure. That whole pressure factor is completely different.
Yeah. I like the in person just because I like seeing everybody, and
Same.
I mean, we don't, in high school we don't get to the way you guys do, but I remember when we had COVID that it was through video and it was Zoom, and it was just not the same.
There's kids doing their tryouts in a garage,
right,
and on the street and in a room this big, and it's so difficult.
And even if they have a studio, like, you don't know if they had to rent it and they only have 1 hour, so they're on a time crunch, versus the people who might have full access and are going every day, all of that sort of stuff. So truly seeing them in person is something I would really, really love to add back. So,
and so you guys now you do the clinics. So what are those clinics like? And again, how do dancers find out about the clinics, and when are they, and all that?
So we have our biggest clinic is always in the summer. So we basically say there's one per season. So there will be one in the summer, typically around July. There's another one come fall. It's normally in October, but we try to place it on a game weekend so that they can kind of make more of a whole like school experience, I guess you could call it, so that they can come to our block parties, they can go to a football game, and then we have our clinic on that Sunday. And then we do another one come spring, and normally that's actually around our spring game, and we call it our Golden Girls Showcase, but it's basically like a recital where our kids have choreographed routines, they do their nationals, that sort of thing. So it brings people to Tallahassee, because we also understand Tallahassee is not a super big city or anything like that. So there's more to do than just the clinic, but our clinics are a great way for you to get to know the team, for you to get to know us as coaches. They get to do technique, game day, they'll do a hip hop combo, a jazz combo. We bring in master instructors, they do Q&As. The seniors and special invites get to go on a special tour and have that extra one-on-one time with our recruitment team, that sort of stuff. So they're really, really a great way. We like to say that's the best way for you to get to know what our school and our atmosphere is like, because truthfully, like, our team they're the most genuine, the nicest kids you'll ever meet. And them coming in, we always say, like, that's the best way for you just to get to know what our team is like, right? Because they always say I remember going to clinics and you'd be like, wait, I thought I was in love with this place, and you're there and you're like, it just doesn't feel right. Or Angelina Fernandez that you coach, like, she always said, like, I never thought I was going to go to Florida State, and then I went to a clinic and I was just like, no, this is home, like, this is where I belong. So that's really, really, I feel like the best way to get to know a team is by going to those clinics, and we always post them on our social media, Instagram. We blast it as much as we possibly can. You'll see it on my Instagram. The girls always share them, that sort of thing. But yeah, one per season, you could say, is our
and it's important that they do see the school, because if you're at the school and something happens to you and you decide, well, I'm not gonna do dance team anymore, or you can't do it, you still gotta love the school, you still gotta love the city. So it is so important that the dancers do get a feel of, okay, this is what this school is like. Do I really love it? Do I really want to be there? Because it's not just about the dance team. It's that's just part of it.
Yeah.
There's so much more that goes with it.
And truthfully too, in college dance team, a lot of people don't realize how much game day you're doing and how much you're doing with the school. So if you don't love the school, you're not going to be happy. Like nationals, yes, you'd spend so much time on it, but that's more like you're drilled into it December to January. Yes, you're running it and all the other times, but you're also having basketball games, volleyball games, community service events, all of those sorts of things. So if you don't truly, truly love the school and the area that you're in, then you're not going to be happy no matter how much you love the team or not.
Yeah. And at what point do you start practicing for your nationals routines? Because I know that you have to have a large part of the season practicing for game days. So what's that schedule like?
For a while, it was like every Monday was a nationals practice. Now with basketball, volleyball, you kind of don't fully know what that schedule is going to be. So say we have an off week, so we only do home football games. So say that we have an off week where they're away. That's normally going to be a time where we focus a little bit more on nationals. So it's not like a full set schedule, but whenever we can like run it or be like, hey, let's clean this big group section now, like we're going to do it and we're going to find the time to do it, because ultimately the more we can get prepped before December is the time that we don't have practice finals week, and then we go into what we call our nationals lockdown, and those are 2 practices a day leading up all the way through Christmas until we go to nationals. They are practicing, we're cleaning. It's like completely nationals focused. Yeah, you'll have a basketball game here and there, but that's kind of not as much of a priority to us. It's like very much nationals focused. So during the season, come November, when volleyball, football, basketball, all the things overlap, it is really, really hard. But it's also kind of nice. We've learned that like the switch up of like, let me run a national dance here is helpful for the girls, because when they feel like they're running the same day on repeat, like it's hard to not burn out.
Yeah. We've talked about it that like I know my kids for sure, come October, it's like the low morale season.
Yes.
It's like we've done this a million times. We're in the second round of cleaning. So it is nice to have that little switch up and just like extra little activities to just, have something else. And I feel like, especially high school kids, they compare high school dance team to college dance team, and they think that, the amount of time that I'm dancing in high school is going to be the same amount that I am in college, and I feel like it's not. It's so different.
It's so different, and truthfully, it's like so much less.
Yeah.
Because in high school, you're going to dance team, then you're going to studio, and then you sometimes have dance as one of your class periods. If you're in a magnet program, you might have it for multiple, all that sort of stuff. So you're dancing all day. When you get to college, we have practice 3 times a week for 3 hours, and then they lift, but they're not dancing at lift. Their strength coach is having them do different exercises, that sort of thing. But other than that, unless we call an extra choreo practice or they're getting a performance at a game or something like that, like you're not dancing the way that you were and spending that much time. So it's kind of hard too, because I feel like when you have more time, you're able to really do like combos and sort of things and like keep finding that love for dance. And it's not that it's not there, but when you have a limited amount of time, you're having to get these things done quickly. I'm having to set a timeout routine. I'm having to re-clean my sidelines. And sometimes that can get tedious and not as fun, I guess you could say. But yeah, truthfully, like the time commitment is so different. It still takes up a lot of time, but it's very different in the way it's used.
Yeah. And do you find time to train as well, the dancers? So you guys take classes and stuff like that. Is it required, or is it like, hey guys, we're going to take a class today, whoever wants to show up?
So come spring, we have a lot more time to like get in our training, all of that sort of stuff. So come spring, when we don't have as much happening, nationals is over, that sort of stuff, we let the girls teach combos. We brought in 2 of our alumni who were Dolphins cheerleaders. They did like an NFL prep class. So we kind of start to bring more people in come spring, is when our main like actual training in that sense can really happen. And then same in summer. We do a little summer boot camp. We brought in different master instructors, that sort of stuff. They did so many different combos so that they can get a feel for like still dancing and not just timeouts or not just nationals routines, that sort of stuff. Come fall, it is pretty hard. Most of the time when we add that training in, it's more training to get the skills of what might be in your nationals, or like, hey, let's work on turns so that when the turn section's here, because we don't learn our jazz until September, but leading up to that, we want to make sure that their skills and they're learning to turn as a team and all of that sort of stuff. So they're still getting the training, but I would say spring and summer is like when we can actually really hone in on it.
Yeah, and it's hard because in summer, like dancer, they're traveling, they're doing their off-season stuff, or they might be in school, so it's still hard
Absolutely.
to get that training going. So I mean, I can imagine because it's hard for us, and we have a little bit more control of our dancers than you guys.
I will say it's been really nice. So a studio in Tallahassee is owned by Wendy Crawford, who is actually the longtime Golden Girl coach. She coached for over 10 years. A lot of us teach there, and she'll do there's drop-in classes every Wednesday that a bunch of us teach, and it will literally go contemporary, jazz, hip-hop. So a lot of the girls will come and take those for fun because they love dancing with each other. If they have an easier week with school, they'll be there. They're like, I just want to dance. And so it's really fun so that they have that opportunity as well. It's not like during practice, but it's definitely.
Does Wendy still get to help you guys out?
Yeah, we're very, very close. She comes in, she cleans. She was coming in and helping clean when I was on the team, when we were getting ready for Worlds, all of that sort of stuff. She hosted our little pool party the other, like in the summer, and all of that sort of stuff. So she's still very, very involved, which has been really awesome.
Yeah,
so
she was
support.
awesome. I loved her personality. I loved when she was, coaching there.
Yeah.
She called me in a couple of times, and I went and I judged tryouts for her, and I loved it. I loved working with her, and she's got such a great, energy about her. So
yeah,
I could just imagine her passion is still there for being with dance team.
It's hard to walk away from something like that in a program that she spent so many years building up, and I mean that's not easy.
No,
and she was part of it when FSU was like on top. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she helped bring it on top and put the name out there, you know, so, and that's not easy. That's not easy. And, you know, you guys were able to keep it for many years. So, you know, she started that, which is, it's hard to walk away from that.
The highest we ever placed was second in jazz, and she was coaching during that time. So, and truthfully too, like she had to take over after a coach was gone and all of that sort of stuff. So like she really turned the program around. So I've always looked to her for advice from even when I was on the team, because I was working at her studio, and I still do, and still now I'm like, what should I do in these situations? She gives the best advice, and she's so supportive and helpful. And so
What years were you on the team?
2019 to 2023.
Oh, so you were there during COVID?
Yes.
Oh,
COVID hit the end of my freshman year.
yeah. Oh, so were you there when they won the national championship? No.
Oh, wait, for basketball?
No, for football.
Oh, no.
So that was before you started.
Yeah.
Those were great years too. If you're on a dance team and you're there when they're national champions, or even if top team,
imagine.
You know, to be on the field and be a part of that. I mean, you know, that's a once in a lifetime. So
yeah.
Was that the year? Was your graduating year the year that they went to Worlds?
Yes.
So you got to go to Worlds.
I got to go to Worlds. How
was that?
It was a whirlwind. Honestly, like you hit some really low lows, like mentally, because it feels like a second national season. Like you think you're done, and then spring break comes and you're like, nationals lockdown part 2. And it is so hard, but it was so rewarding. Like truthfully, it was hard in the sense of, you're re-cleaning a dance you just worked on for 6 months, like all of that sort of stuff. And a lot of people don't know this, but our coach actually, Chastity, never told us that she was reapplying us for Worlds. So she applied them in 2019, actually the year they got third. They didn't get picked. And then she applied us again my junior year when we did The Moment I Said It. And we didn't get picked again that year. And it was honestly just so like crushing, because it was like we felt like we had it and like all of that sort of stuff. So then I knew that she applied us because I was actually with her at high school nationals and she was judging. I was quality judging. So she told me, and she was like, don't tell the team. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think this is the year to do it. So we did. And it was so cool. We got chosen. It was a whirlwind. So it definitely had its lows. And then after prelims, we were actually in second to Japan. So that was hard because we were the only USA team going into finals in second place. So that was really, really hard. And we had so many sports psych sessions and all of that sort of stuff because we just had a lot of adversity like put against us, it felt like. And then so then when we did win, it was like the biggest deal to us. Like
were there a lot of rules that were different, like things that you had to change and adjust because it was different rules? Or
the rules, like, yes, we had to change things in the sense of like visuals kind of. There's actually no difficulty on the score sheet, so we kind of had to like re-alter certain things, like, oh, is it worth taking the risk of making sure this might not be perfectly together, or do we make it easier? Like that sort of stuff was different. The biggest change was that because the judges come from like everywhere around the world, they actually don't understand necessarily, like stories don't translate culturally. So we kind of had to change our storyline because we danced to Dangerously in Love that year. So when we were doing it for nationals, we were a little bit more like sad, feeling that emotion, but it doesn't translate across the culture. So we had to think like Smiley. So that was like kind of the biggest difference, because you spend all this time like really portraying a story to get people to feel, because that's how you connect to the audience and all of that sort of stuff. So that was like a really big change, because we just spent 6 months figuring out how to portray it this way. And now it's like, oh, you want me to be happy? You want me to smile? When we thought it was like about betrayal and all of that sort of stuff. So that was like very interesting to see. And even like modesty rules are slightly different. So we're in like a one-piece dress, but they were like packed tights because we don't know if your skirt's going to be too short and you're going to need to put tights on. So different things like that. You have to wear 2 shoes. There's little things. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing that really kind of shook us was that cultural change, that you have to think about how it's going to portray to all cultures rather than just what was working at nationals. And
do they have you like do stuff with the teams, like, you know, while you're there, like special events or things like that?
Yeah, they do. So the first night we get there, we have like a USA showcase. So all the US national teams, cheer, dance, all the things. We do like a big showcase in the hotel that night, and everyone's there to watch each other. It's like the first time we like can really come together. So that's really awesome to see. And then after that, we do an opening ceremony. So it's literally just like the Olympics. And the year we did it in 2023 was the first year we were recognized by the Olympic Channel. So we were on the Olympic Channel. It was really, really cool. But they do the whole opening ceremony. You walk with your flags, like you send 2 representatives from your country to hold the flags in the opening ceremony. It's so cool. And then after that, they like say like, let the games begin. It's like a whole thing. And then after that, we would watch each other. And then one of the nights we actually do this like cultural exchange. So all the people competing at Worlds just go out on that courtyard right outside of the arena, and you're just trading different things from your country. So we were giving wristbands, we were giving American flag socks, all that stuff. And then like Australians are giving you things, people from Japan are giving you things. So it's like a whole cultural exchange. And then you get home to your hotel and you're like, look at all the things I got. Like, and then some people are ending up with like sombreros from Mexico and they're like, I got the hat, did you? Like all that sort of stuff. So that was like really, really cool. And then even after like I said, we were in second with Japan. And then when we ended up winning, like you would have thought like, oh, it's this big competition thing. And we got backstage to get our rings and like stand on our podiums for the picture. And we're all like hugging each other. Like there's language barriers, all that stuff. We're like crying. Everyone's just so happy for each other. So that was really, really cool to be able to communicate and talk to and really meet all those different countries. Yeah.
Is it something that you were considering maybe as a coach, maybe doing it again?
Yeah, I would definitely consider it. I think they need a second because like the ones who were in it, they were freshmen that are now seniors. So they probably need a minute before we would need to do it again.
It's exhausting.
Oh, it's exhausting. So I think it's definitely like a once in a lifetime experience and it's really awesome. But I don't think we could do it like years and years in a row, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because it does. It takes a toll on you. And I don't know how much you get financial support from the school.
You pay for it completely yourself. And truthfully, we don't have a big budget at Florida State, which I know we're a big school, but we have to watch our money. A lot of clinics and fundraisers and different things like that are what help us pay for nationals and different things like that because your budget's only so big and these things are expensive and Worlds you have to pay for. So it was one of those that like, it was a little helpful for us because we're just coming from Tallahassee. So there's not flights, but you still have to pay for the bus and you still have to pay for all of those sort of things. So that's like a big factor too, is making sure that we would have the financial stability to be able to.
So the school they're not able to help you with everything. They help you with some stuff in nationals, but the kids have to fundraise.
So we do get a budget and it's been cut down almost every single year just with the way things are going. And so like coaches' salaries come out of that budget, our halftime meals, all the kids' gear, all of that sort of stuff. So our kids don't have to pay for anything, which is really, really nice because I know some other schools do. But we have to be careful as coaches, like really budget, really think like, oh, okay, well, I know I want this more expensive choreographer. Oh, I want this more expensive costume. Like maybe I need to host another clinic or maybe we need to sell merchandise here, that sort of thing to be able to cover those costs. Because you only get so much money and it doesn't cover everything. Yeah. So
People don't realize how expensive all these things are. I mean, you try to budget and everything, but you can never really stay at your budget because you make the costumes like, okay, I need more rhinestones.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I need now I need other shoes. All right, now I need a headpiece, and it just it adds up. No matter how much you try, it's just it's impossible.
She's the worst at it.
I am.
And every competition, there's a new costume.
Yeah, I really am.
I mean, that was us. I was like, that wasn't enough rhinestones.
No. Every single one it changes. It's like, okay, no, that's another
something
1,000.
else.
Yeah, we're a big thing with like hair. We'll like think the hair is like right, and then we're like, actually, no, let's change the hair after this performance.
At least that's a low budget.
It is a low budget situation, but the kids are always like, again, you want us to try something else? And I'm like, come to practice fully ready. We're gonna try this hairstyle today, and let's see what happens. So.
Do you guys do a showcase before you leave to nationals?
Yes, we do. So normally it's at like last Wednesday. We invite a bunch of family and friends to go, but that's like our last hurrah situation because we are in Florida. It's a lot easier. We leave like that right before. So we will normally host one. All the local studios come watch us, family, friends. They all kind of come. Last year we actually performed at the cheer showcase too, and we'll perform at basketball games and stuff so that we can try to get them to know what it's like to perform in front of an audience. We want all of those jitters, everything out so that they feel like they've felt all the feelings they could feel before they go on stage.
Yeah, because we have that advantage that we get to do several regional competitions till we get on the national stage, but you guys don't get that.
No.
So you've got to find the way of, performing. And you don't want to do it at a basketball game so often because
you never know who's filming and then videos get
we saw what happened this year with that,
Right.
That was crazy.
And nothing is ever safe. Nothing is ever safe.
No.
And
No, and really, I mean, it's not like if anybody could do anything about it at that point.
Right.
But still, it's, it's just that element of surprise that you want to have when you put it on the stage. And, doing it like that, it just kind of takes away. I mean, it does it for us too. I mean, we do regionals and everybody sees what we're doing early on.
Right.
But it's different. You're competing. And so now you know what it feels like. And you guys don't get that. So that makes it that much harder.
It does. I mean, we have been really fortunate that we have sports psychologists. And a lot of times they'd make them do a lot of mental prep. So I'll never forget when I was on the team, like, our sports psychologist, actually, she was from Florida, but she had went to Rutgers and was a dancer, and she was on Rutgers dance team. So she had been through everything we had been through. So we did a lot of like visualization. She would read a script of us walking through the ESPN tunnel, all of that sort of stuff. And truthfully, like, it makes you feel all the feelings that you feel in that moment, and we've carried that on ever since. So leading up, we'll read the script, like we'll be playing all the background noise in the back, so then we sit there and we like read through, and you're like, okay, well, you just walked off practice mat, this is what you hear, this is what you see, now you're walking down the stairs, now you hear this, now the war chant's going, so that you feel every bit of emotions are going to come up. And then that really, the more they do that, the more comfortable they feel when we get to nationals.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's one of the cool things also of college is I love when they play the chant.
Yeah.
I love when, the school's going to come out and it's like the school song, and it just gets everybody so, excited, and everybody who's like for that team, like they're, they come out, they're chanting along. So I love that about college.
We were talking about it earlier, that we were talking about the division changes in high school, and we were talking about like, oh my gosh, I hope that I don't get kicked out of the castle. She was saying how she prefers performing in the arena versus the castle.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's so different because they have their logo in the back. It's like, it just kind of like tailors it to the college. Where in high school, we don't get that in the arena, and we're also with other people. But
I mean, too, what we've noticed about being in the arena, everyone's so much closer, and our team always feeds off the closeness. The judges are even closer, and I can happily say that we have great technique, so that really plays to our advantage, because then they're seeing it up close, whereas that when the judges are further, the kids feel like everyone's further, all you can see, because your cheer team goes down in front, but they still feel like really far from you when you're on that floor. Like they say it feels like you're in a fishbowl, and truthfully that's what it feels like. And even last year, I'll never forget, like we walked back and I was like, was the arena silent? Like, I swear I did not hear one person screaming. And they were like, no, Nyah, like, it's so loud. And I was like, really? And I don't know what it is. Yeah, loud and packed. But for some reason, like, I don't know if it's just a Golden Girl FSU thing that we feel like in the castle, it feels like a fishbowl and we're in there alone. Like, I don't know what it is. But, yeah, we love the arena. We've always said we're an arena team. Like, that is where they shine. That's where they feel it, all of that sort of stuff.
Well, I think that when they took away all the seats from the bottom, that kind of took that feeling away of like feeling like the teams were all there. Like I remember back in the day when you would, you're going to come out to compete and everybody was sitting around, and there wasn't an empty spot on the floor, on the seats, and they don't have that anymore. Like, it's kind of lost that. And it's a little frustrating when you're team and you're coming out and it's empty. And you've got the fan section, but the fan section is so far away.
So far away. If I was a fan having to stand there, I'd be like, I don't even want to stand here.
No, because
I want to sit on the side.
Most of our parents stay on the side because they're like, they'll at least be able to hear me. Whereas if I'm behind the coaches and then the whole gap and then all the saved seating
and then
all
the
that
cameras
stuff,
coming across,
like the kids don't hear you, they don't feel you. I mean, we've been out there before. Like, you go out and you're like, come off and you're like, what just happened? Like, you black out out there, right? So the arena has been really nice for them because they feel it more.
And it's a stage, it's a raised stage, so you feel more of a performance. I love the castle. It's just that feeling of the castle.
It's also like iconic for
high school. I mean,
to walk through that castle,
that was the high school days of being in the castle. It was like, oh my god, we made it. Like, we made it to the castle. It was the biggest deal. So that's what's also been like a weird switch up, is like, oh, now in college the castle doesn't feel as comfortable. Like, so strange. But
do they do more of cheer for college in the castle? Is that the way it works? I
mean, honestly, it's kind of a mix of both, because they'll be in the arena for multiple days and then they'll go to the castle for finals, and there's been years that their finals are in the arena too. So cheer's a little bit more back and forth. I feel like it's pretty similar in the sense of you do some in front of the castle, you do some in front of the arena. It just depends.
And there's years that I'll go see what's going on in the castle, and it's like stunts. And I'm like, this is a humongous arena to be having partner stunt. Like, you could have done that in the other place in the Jostens.
Right. Especially last year when it's like everyone's fighting and trying to pay each other for seats in the arena. You're like, well, would we have fit better?
Yeah.
And
I think there was one year where they did the mascot.
The mascot too. Yeah, which that should be in the Jostens. It should be, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Visa.
Yeah. It should be there every time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the place for it because it's more, confined, it's smaller.
Yeah.
And then to have that in the castle, I think it's, just such a waste of space.
Right,
and there's 5 people watching.
Right.
So, yeah, and with last year, how crazy that was that, you couldn't even like be standing in there. There were people playing soccer that came to watch it because,
They're
really
there.
had nothing else to
offered
do.
me $800 for my seat.
Like at that point, honestly, I would probably take it.
That's what I told you. You guys should have just told them, let me here, have the whole row. The row is yours.
I know. I really should have. I regret the decision now. I could have been $800 richer.
Right.
But, here we are.
Yeah, I would have totally given up my seat. But once I did find a seat, I didn't move. I just sat, and it wasn't the best seat, but I was like, I got a seat. I'm not moving from here because
I had to at one point I had to get up to go to the bathroom, and I had to call my students down, and I was like, sit in my seat.
Right.
Because if not, somebody else is going to take it.
And the bathroom line's so long, so you don't know how long you're
to
meeting
go to the
for.
bathroom and get a soda, easily an hour. It was crazy. I don't know what it is that they did last year that just made it so not user friendly. But they can never do that again.
I mean, even down for us, like we were going against the sea. It felt like to even get back to go meet our team to rewatch our playback.
Yeah.
Like it was it was hard.
I just feel like as a whole, it wasn't as enjoyable this year as it normally is.
Right.
And I think it was because there wasn't that same, like, we weren't even able to practice with our team outside, and that's like something that like my kids look forward to because it's like we get to like practice next to a college,
right?
And it was like we can't leave our seats if now we're never going to come back in. So it just, there was so many things, and it was packed. People were arguing all around you, and it was just
and for a parent that goes there to see their kid and they can't even sit down because people are just everywhere and they're not moving. Like, there was cheerleading parents sitting there because they didn't want to give up their seats
for
their
later.
Kid was later.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's not user friendly.
Yeah.
And I think with TikTok, going to be banned, everybody, okay, we're not able to watch it. We're all just going to have to go.
Right. Well, I'm hoping too, like, when you look in the arena, they don't use all the seats. So maybe there's a way to like push the stage a little bit further back to open up more seats on the side.
Well,
or
know that they
something.
started showing it on the screens in one of the back rooms.
Yes.
And so they were like, oh, you could come watch it over there, but you're paying all this
I'm like,
money.
why would I pay to not watch it live?
For that, just like watch it on Varsity TV.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Even though a lot of the dances, I was watching the big screen because I was sitting on the side and it was like I couldn't see well, so I just wouldn't look at the big screen.
All I can see is if their lines are straight. So
Hopefully this year, I really have never experienced it like that before. Like I feel like it's never been at that point. So hopefully this year it'll be a little bit easier for everybody to enjoy the
and
process.
I feel like a lot of people feel the same way we do. So I'm sure they're gonna do whatever they can to try to make it better for everyone.
And I'm sure UDA wasn't like, yep, this is the way. It worked well. So I'm sure that they weren't like that. So
well, even on like the dance side, we were having practice floor when we first arrived, and we were like sharing the room with like cheer. So then you have like game day live happening. I'm like, I'm just trying to get them to hear the Alicia Keys piano keys in the beginning. And you're like fighting all the speakers. So I've heard that they want to make it so that it's like, oh, if you're on dance, like you're gonna be in there when only dance people are in there, and all of that sort of stuff. So
that happened to us too. There was a whole band playing right next to you, and the song you couldn't hear because it's so low. And it was like, well, you've got 10 minutes. You got to get out of here. And
and I'm like, can you turn up the speaker? And then I'm like, I'm hearing this other Beyonce song screaming at me, and I'm like, they're trying to do hip hop, and I'm just trying to hear them.
There's no way we're all at the same volume level.
No, And then they were like locked. So then like, we'll try to get one, and then like they're walking up as like we're leaving the floor. I'm like, well, I just told them hopefully they hear it on the floor, like when we're out there.
That the music stuff still needs a little bit of help, and I think that there's other competitions you go to that you submit your music and you don't have to worry about it, and that's such a relief. I don't know why they haven't gone to that. Like that would help the coaches. It would help so many things. You would know the time, everybody, how long it's going to be. They would be able to try the music beforehand, know what the volume is. Make it so much
especially because
easier.
like even last year all of our music was low, so now I'm like this year turning everything up, so hoping, but you never know until you're out there.
Well, and now the new rules with you have 30 seconds to be on and off, and there's a music mishap, that things just it just makes things so much more stressful. So I mean, I think that in their mind they're thinking,
Less
CYA.
liability.
Like I don't want it to land on us.
Right.
If there's a music problem, it's yours.
Right.
Like, it's your fault, kind of thing. But there's been so many years. I remember there was one year where you went right before me, or like right after me, and it was at regionals, and I plugged in my phone, and it played fine for me. But then she plugged in the iPad, and it was like a whisper, and it was like that can't be possible.
That can't be. No,
Yeah.
and if you send on the music ahead of time, you could still, as a coach, check your music. All right,
Right.
your number
They
77.
used
here
to
you go.
do that, right?
No, UDA's never done that.
There was a competition once that I remember that you could
DTU
sit-
does that.
Was it DTU that you
Okay.
could sit there with a headphone, listen to it, and be like, okay, yes, we're good to go, and then they would play the music for
Right.
you.
Yeah,
at least press play.
but that, I mean, it solves so many problems. I heard it sounds good. Yes, boom, that's my song.
And then they came up with the alternate can't press play.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm
Okay,
like-
we did it anyway. No one told us no, but yeah, because it's like as a coach, why do I want to watch it from the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm shaking so bad up
Yeah.
there, like I can't press.
No,
I will double tap that play button so
Right.
fast. I
We
can't
the
do
first
that.
year we did game day. There's a funny story, and I've been going to UDA forever, so I know
Yeah.
the rules. But I didn't know game day, and I really, whatever, it was like, let's just do it. And we didn't record the music with space in between, so we would stop it. Okay, they're ready. Okay, press play, and they would start.
Terrifying.
And horrible. And so we're on the stage. It's the first time, and all this, they do it, and it's like, okay, we're press play, and they weren't ready, and we press play, and they weren't ready. One of them dropped the palm, and I was like, oops, stop. And the music went. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to do that,
Yeah.
right? I'm sorry. And my kids all like got back into place, and then we pressed play again. But we just left it. We're like, what did we just do?
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was a
You and
disaster.
stopping music can't happen.
I know I can't do it, but that's what you get so nervous, and like you're so like anxious for them. You're like, okay, go.
Right. And then too, like the time crunch with game day, if you're playing it and there's not the allotted space, you're like, how do I know if they're about to go over? Because you get a deduction if
Yeah.
you go over, all of that stuff. And it's like
Horrible.
timed by section and then the whole thing, like all of that stuff. I've been on the rules side of that before too. So tracking the time on that side is just as stressful as it is to play the music. I'll say that for sure. But
And you don't want to press play too soon, because if everybody's not quiet, if that one person makes noise, it's gonna throw the kids off. So you need that perfect silence. But
Right.
that
then you
they
have the
told
30
you.
seconds.
Right.
And you're like,
It's horrible. That stress is just
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They need to figure something out.
They've
Give us medication.
They've taken away. They've taken away a few things. I remember the year that they took away I guess it was not the safety champion, but whoever it was that would stand backstage to like watch and make sure that you were doing everything okay. If like you were doing something illegal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It was like 2 years ago, at UDA camp. We had an instructor teach the girls a trick.
Right.
And I was like, is that legal? She's like, yeah, absolutely. We did the trick, and at regionals, we got a deduction. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And then I went to them, and I was like, how could you tell me it was taught to me at UDA camp? The instructor told me it was okay. Like, and she was like, no, it wasn't. The deduction, remains, whatever. And I was like, but nobody even told me backstage. And she's like, yeah, we took that away this year. And I was like, you never told anybody that. Like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they like ended up coming out with like a whole, they put it in red. You know how they
Yes,
put it
like
in
the
red?
new things
But,
are in
like,
red always.
It happened the following year. I'm like, well, I'm really glad I was the dummy that had to go
Right.
through that.
And having that person there is so beneficial. Like they really see this is wrong before you get up on stage.
Yeah.
Again, 1 year for game day. Also, we had like a big flag. And he was running around with a big
yeah.
flag, and then they come. They're like, "You're not allowed to do that
High
anymore."
school
And we're
doesn't get to use flags.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
okay.
You're like,
Let's
oh,
slow that
forget the
down.
flag. Yeah.
But luckily, they told me because they saw it when we were back there. Because
Right.
somebody was there watching. If they
Yeah.
would have told me, I would have come up on stage like that, and then be like, "Okay, dummy, you were not allowed to use that." I would have
Right.
died. But I had 3 minutes to fix that problem,
Right.
but we were able to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, thinking on your toes, but you had to do something.
Well, now I'm like, if I even question anything, I'm just sending in a video.
Right.
And then I'm like, if they say it's yes, and they try to say anything at nationals, I'm going to be like, well, you already told me it was legal. And then
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh,
Because
I
it's a very
learned my
gray area. What's
There
legal and
is.
illegal? It's
They tried their best to make it detailed, but then I confuse myself with the details, and I'm like,
And you think too much into it.
technically, right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, but I also don't know if it's the same person at competition that's watching and checking that. than the same person that's reading through the emails and like
right. I don't know.
Like I don't know if it's also the same.
I do know that they cross-check them though.
Okay.
Because when we were on rules side, like there would be times that they'd be like, well, let me double check that this wasn't in an email or something like that as well. So I do know that there's like extra checking.
Yeah, there's many times that they do things that I'm like, that's illegal.
Right.
But it's obviously it's not because they did it, but it looks illegal to me because when I read the rules, it just A, B, and C, and that's not A, B, and C. So yeah, it's very gray area, and yeah, you can get away with a lot of things that don't think that you can, but you can. You just got to read between the lines.
Yeah, I'm like, when in doubt, just as long as someone's touching them, you should be okay.
Exactly.
When in doubt, they're in contact with someone who's in contact with the floor, and we should be okay.
Yeah, that is the rule. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
So what's it like being UDA staff? What's it been like being UDA staff?
It has been the most rewarding experience. Like, they say it's all about like those kids and who you meet and all of that stuff. And like, truthfully, that it really is. Like, I have met so many people on the staff side, coaches. Like, I've been so lucky to have your kids for 5 years now, basically, and all of that sort of stuff. So in those connections, like they say UDA is a family, it really is. Like, you'll have worked with someone for one camp and I still stay in contact. Like, there was someone who was one of my HIs my rookie year, and now I'm working with her team every year, and I have multiple trips to go up to Missouri, and we still talk every day and all of that sort of stuff. So you meet a lot of people, and you might meet master instructors that are then going to book you on a job somewhere else, or you might meet a coach that, who knows, is going to end up with this job later down the road. Or you might be like, oh, well, she was my staffer here and I knew her and she was great. Come join this NBA team. Different things like that.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is so connected.
And like for you, it's a great way to recruit as well. Like you're seeing the dancers and you're working with them, and be able to offer, hey, listen, come to my clinic, come to FSU. It's a great way for you to recruit. So
Absolutely.
one more way. I mean, I know that you have several ways, but the staff
It's
is
nice.
one more way.
Right. Especially those dance team kids like we were talking about earlier. Like, it's so cool to be able to get kids with dance team experience. It makes our lives easier as a coach once they get to us, because whether they competed in Palm or not, like, they still are more aware of what the different styles that happen in UDA and all of that sort of stuff. So being able to see them at camp or see how they work under pressure, because camp is a stressful situation. How do they pick up choreo? How are they like when I work with them? How do we interact? Different things like that has been really, really cool as well.
And when you're looking for dancers for your team, what do you look for? Like, if somebody wants to go to FSU, I don't know what they want. What are they looking for? What do you look for?
I would say versatility. I will say that we are a melting pot of a team. We have girls whose legs will go behind their head, and we have girls who are like, don't ask me to lift my leg above 90 degrees.
That was me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So we have all sorts of things, but I'll say like every single one of them is so hardworking, and we really, really value all of that. Everything you bring to the table, like, we want that, but I can fully say, like, if you are ready to dive in, whether it's your strength, whether it's your weakness, like, that is fully what I want. I want someone who is versatile, and we compete in jazz and hip hop. And recently our styles have been pretty equal. Like, we placed higher in jazz most of the time. However, like, they are equally as good at hip hop as they are at jazz, and every person can be on the floor in both. We don't have those, oh, we have a jazz team, this is who our jazz floor is, and we have those jazz people who are never going to touch the floor in hip hop. Like, it's not like that. And people come onto our team maybe thinking that way, and by their senior year, they're in the front row of both routines. All of that sort of stuff. So really, really big on versatility. And too, like I said a little bit earlier, we are really, really big on personality and like being a good human. They are so close, and we value that like genuine person, that sort of thing as well. Like, personality is a really, really big thing for us. So seeing that you're going to fit all the personalities. We do have every sort of personality. We have kids who are biomed, want to say that they're nerdy, and then we have those sorority girls. We have every single type of person, and it's really, really beautiful to see how that all meshes. And
if a kid doesn't audition going in as freshman, but they want to audition their sophomore year, what's their chance of getting on the team? Because I know it gets harder because you've got your vets, so it's harder.
Yeah, it definitely is harder, but I will not say it's impossible. There are so many people. We have multiple seniors graduating this year. We have some who are fourth years. We have some who either didn't try out their first year and are now going into their third year as a senior. We have some like that who didn't try out for whatever reason. We have people who tried out their first year, didn't make it. They did Seminole Dance Force at Florida State, which is our club team, but they compete at NDA, and they're fantastic. So they keep training, and then they make it the next year. Maybe they do that for 2 years and come. So yes, it is harder, but truthfully, it kind of depends every year on how many spots we have, right? Like, so this past year, we only had 5 So we only took 5. But in other years, like this year, I have 8 seniors graduating. So technically I can take a lot more. So it really depends. I will say it is hard to make it if you don't make it that first year, but it's not impossible. And we see it a lot.
Yeah. And it's hard because FSU's gotten so hard to get into. So
hard.
The kids have to be academically strong.
Yeah.
And, they have good grades, meaning that they're studious. That means that school is, a big focus for them, which makes, picking your kids is not that easy because it's not like you can say, I want you, you, and you. It's like, I got to wait.
I have to wait and see who is going to get in. And 2, truthfully, we've had so many kids with great grades, the best resumes you could think of, and then their test score is just not there. Yeah. And then they don't get in. And what's really, really cool, new this year, actually, at Florida State, we have this thing called the FSU Next program. Basically, they get in to that program through FSU their first semester. So that fall semester, they're actually at TSC, which is it's now a state college, but it used to be a community college. They take their first semester there. They're in one class at FSU, but they're technically a registered full-time FSU student. They're allowed to be on cheer, they're allowed to be on dance, and they're allowed to be in the band.
Oh, nice.
And then as long as they keep a certain GPA with those first classes, they're a full-time in the spring, which means they're able to be on our team. They're able to compete with us, all of that.
So they have to apply directly into that program.
It's an option on their application status. So little tidbits we've learned is if you apply into summer, it's easier to get in than if it's than the fall. And then allowing yourself to be considered for the next program. There's also the Aspire program, which is really similar, but that's 2 semesters, and that one doesn't work for being on the team for that first year. But the next program has been really cool. It literally started this past year, so I think they'll get all their quirks and tweaks out this year, and then
if they're part of that, are they able to rush and be in sorority and fraternities? Do they do that or no?
Actually, at Florida State, it's in a spirit rule for as long as I've known about it, and we really like it. They're not allowed to rush their freshman year if they're on the team. We do that so that when they come in, they're not going to overcommit themselves with sorority, dance team, school, all of that sort of stuff. So their first year on the team, if they're coming in as a freshman, they're not allowed to rush. However, they can rush their second year. But we also have the vice versa. If you didn't make the team or didn't try out that first year, and you were already at Florida State and already in a sorority, we'll still take you on the team that next year if you're already in a sorority, that sort of thing.
And this might be a stupid question, but hypothetically, how long can a student be on the team? Because there's some that maybe go an extra semester or an extra 2 semesters.
Truthfully, we've only ever had up to 5 years. With the COVID lines, it kind of makes eligibility a little bit different. So was that extra leeway. Truthfully, most people only do 4, but we've had people who are grad students and are on the team. And we actually had 2 last year who just graduated. They both actually went pro. One's now a Falcons cheerleader, and one just made the Clutch City dancers for the Rockets. So that's been really, really cool. But yeah, they can be on the team and be grad students, which is really nice.
Okay, and they can be there their entire grad time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And are you seeing now more interest in the dance team girls jumping over to pro?
Yeah, so I feel like it kind of took a little bit of a break, and then my senior year, all of us kind of wanted to try to go pro. And then after that, it's been a thing that they more and more, they're still going into their full-time jobs and different things like that, but a lot of them want to continue dancing, which has been really, really cool because, 2, they're all taking different avenues. So we actually just made a Knowles in the Pros post, and it was really, really cool. But we have girls at Disney. We have girls on every cruise line, Royal, Norwegian, Virgin, all of that. We also have people at Universal. We have people in NFL. We have people in NBA. So that's been really cool too. And what's really awesome is a lot of our alumni have done that as well, and there have been great connections. So we have a whole alumni group, Facebook group, and we put them in contact with all of those alumni if they want help, if they need rec letters. We have people who are on the Falcons, so she was able to help the one, Izzy, who is now on the Falcons, get ready and prepped for that. And then that's another connection that they have to the team, that maybe the coach trusts that alumni and is oh, that's another Golden Girl. Oh, you were great, so now I want this person, different things like that.
Yeah,
so
you have a reputation. Really cool. So that is cool. And I love how that has, transferred over.
Yeah.
Because, they don't realize as dancers that you could keep dancing, you could keep doing things and still have a professional career.
Yeah.
And if you go pro, you have the option of, I could still have my professional career and continue dancing and make money off of it.
Right.
it's nice and something that I've been doing for a long time. So why not?
And I think too, over the last couple of years, we started bringing in more people. So we've even brought in like Sophie Pittman and different things like that. And yeah, say we bring them in for a clinic, like we make sure we have a Q&A session or something like just with our team and them so that they can hear about their options. Because I think a lot of it comes down to too, they just didn't even know what all their options were, or be like, oh yeah, that was a dream of mine, but I don't even know where to start in getting there. So we have girls now who want to go dance in LA. So thank God for Nathan and Jovi, but they're already talking to them about, oh, this is how I signed with this agency. I need you to do this to get there, to then once you meet this person, go take this intensive in Atlanta, and then this choreographer is going to be there, and then tell them you know me. Now you made this connection. She choreographed for all of these things and all of that sort of stuff. So it's really just about putting yourself out there and building those connections. So we've been really trying, and I want to continue to try to bring those different people in. We brought in Katie Wilson, who was a heat dancer, Nicole Sullivan. Like I said, we had brought KP and Olivia, our alumni from Dolphins and different things like that. The more that they can just be around it and tell their passion and their story of how they got to where it is, it's just really eye-opening for the girls. And I think that's what's also pushed them to go out for these things. So I feel like there was a point in time where we would be like, oh yeah, we want to dance pro, but had no idea how to get there, so we just wouldn't even go for it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that people also think that it's like reaching, like it's like, you know, what are the chances that I'm gonna get chosen for something?
Right.
And it's like, no, now the chances are so much higher. You know, you've done all these things, you've built such a high resume that at this point there's no reason you can't. You know, as long as you're building those connections, you have all of this experience, you're going out for doing whatever you want to do, you're going to succeed at some point.
Absolutely.
But at this point, it's up to you how much you're going to succeed, which I think for a long time dancers didn't fully understand.
Yeah. No, and it's hard. You grow up thinking, oh my God, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Oh my God.
Right.
I could never do that. I'll never make that. But you do have that. You do have those options. It doesn't have to be Dallas. It could be, you know, the Dolphins. It could be the Raiders. I mean, there's so many NFL pro teams, and they're all great. Yeah. That you could have those options, and then maybe after a year of doing this, maybe you could go into DCC. So there are options. They just don't even know where to start. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you take the team to Pro Action, or do any of them go to Pro Action?
We haven't, but that is something I really, really want to go to. I had a lot of friends who coach other teams who went for the first time this year, and they were like, this would just be so great. And obviously with our transition, it was a little bit harder to make that happen this year. But yeah, I definitely want to at least bring like seniors or something, because the material there and all of that stuff, and then the exposure that they get with that little extra like combine type class thing where all of those pro team coaches get to watch them in that audition is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like a tribe. It's like a tribe, but for colleges.
For colleges.
Well, and I love that that's happening now. Because, like, all of these convention events, like, it's providing so much opportunity for dancers. Yeah. And I feel like everybody needs that.
1,000%. And it's nice that it's all in one area. Like, you're not like, oh, well, I'm interested in heat, but I'm also interested in the Suns, and now I have to go to Miami, but then I need to fly across the country to Arizona. Like, all those people are in one place now. So then, yes, it's still important to go to those places that are your top teams, but you can learn so much more when they're just in one area for you.
Yeah. And speaking of those conventions, do you find it that it's beneficial for the dancers to go to like Tribe and Prodigy, that you guys are there too? Because I know that some teams don't take their kids. It's kind of hard to take your entire team. So kids are, you know, they sign up on their own, but they don't realize, is this really a good idea? Do I really need to do this? And, you know, what do you what would you say to some dancer who wants to go to it?
1,000% go. Because truthfully, like I said, there's a place for everyone in this dance community. Like, if you want to keep dancing, like, you need to go and do that, but you also need to find the right fit for you. We talked about how schools are important, all of that sort of stuff, and Tribe and all that stuff. Like, yes, I love being able to see someone that I might have never seen because they're from a small place in Illinois and I'm in small Tallahassee, Florida. Like, you would have never thought to come to me, but now that we've made this connection, now you're like, oh, I really do want to come down for a clinic. And then you might fall in love, and then now you're on this team, and that connection would have never been made. That would have never even been on your mind to look at us if we weren't at Prodigy or Tribe or anything like that. But also too, for kids to see what their options are. They might think like, oh, I've been admiring this team all this time, but I don't want to go to a super big school, or I need to go to a smaller school, or actually this school can offer me all these scholarships, or whatever it may be. Like, going there is your best way to understand all of your options and see all the routes you could possibly go.
Well, it saves money for these kids too, because traveling to all these colleges is a lot of money. Yeah. And so at least it like kind of like helps them narrow down their options. Right. They might see, you know what, I really love FSU, UCF, and LSU. But the FSU coach was the one that was talking to me, so I really want to make sure I go there.
Right.
And it kind of narrows down their options
1000%.
and gives them an opportunity to see maybe there are other things out
And what's
there.
crazy is that, when you go to the big tribe event, and there's 400 or 500 kids there, and to think that there are kids that couldn't get in.
Right.
Like they were trying to register and it was sold out.
Yeah.
And there are that many kids who are that interested in, going into college dance teams, and this is their opportunity. Now that they have those little regionals, it gives them an opportunity. Okay, if I couldn't get into the big one, I could still go to the regional where these schools that I'm interested in. And now there's Prodigy too, so I couldn't get into Tribe, but let me try through Prodigy. Like there's so many options now that there's no excuse. Like there's no reason to say, oh, they're not going to take me, or I couldn't get on, or I didn't know.
I'm not good enough for a team.
Right.
They have the opportunity. There's no doubt.
Now, too, we're even branching that into studio conventions and nationals and stuff. So you have Streets, you have the Dance Awards, you have Revel. There's all of those different, you can go up to their table. You can find out, too, because, it's important that you be like, oh, I am interested in this place, but if my grades don't align, big thing that happens at Florida State, like you might love my team, but if you don't have even a 4.0 or you're not around a 1300, a 30 ACT, like it's questionable if you're going to get in. And that's really sad to me because I'm like, oh my God, I could love you to death, but I have no pull. But it's also important to know those things, and talking to the coaches at all of these combines has been really, really beautiful because that's how you learn. Because I don't want you to waste your money to go to this clinic if there was no shot of you even getting into the school when you could have spent that money on somewhere that you might actually be able to end up.
Well, and that's the number one thing that I think every dancer needs to understand is that when making these decisions for these teams, you want to be realistic.
Yeah.
Not just talent wise. Like you need to understand, first of all, you need to do your research on the team itself. Like to see what these dancers on this team are strong at. Can I do that? Can I match that? Yes, no, okay, fine. And then look at the school. See, do I have the ability to make it into the school? If it's a reach for you, sure, you can try for the team, but don't make that your only option. And if you need to actually pick and choose where you need to go, or I have this much of a budget and I need to go here, then narrow it down and on really the teams that are going to be realistic for you.
Yeah. Keeping your options open is the biggest thing. And two, we've even had, because all these dance teams in Florida are getting so good, and UCF is fantastic. They're so different from us, but so similar. And I love Joyce, and it happens a lot, especially like in Florida, because you have Bright Futures, Florida Prepaid, all those things that kids are like, actually, I want to stay in Florida. And there we have, UF is so great with, all of their game day stuff, and then you have Miami. They're up and coming. I'm still obsessed with their hip hop from last year. Like I still think about it. But you have all these great options here too. And we always say to like the people who are in our recruitment process, like, we will support you in wherever you go, whether that means we offer you a spot and you turn us down, or whether you end up on this team. Like, we have such great relationships, and I've been trying to keep those great relationships with all of these Florida coaches, or even the coaches around, because like your journey is where you're going to end up, and that's okay, whether it's on Golden Girls, whether it's on UCF, whether it's on UF, whether it's across the country on Washington State. Like, you have a journey, and it's already written in the stars for you, so you have to just go where it's best for you to go.
Yeah. And it's important that the Florida coaches stay connected. Like, we have a group of Florida coaches that we're friends with. We go to the coaches conference, and we have our group chat, and we hang out together because we're all in the same like little world.
Right.
And it's important to keep those connections because Florida's huge, but there's so many options. Like, my kids could go to so many places that it's important for me to connect with you, to connect with Joyce, to connect with the coaches at UF, at USF, because I want my kids to have those opportunities. Right. So it is important that we all, stay connected, and we, have conversations like that to help the kids make the right choices, go to the right place.
I do also think it's so important for and you said it, high school coaches to have these relationships with these college coaches, but for college coaches to have that same relationship with high school coaches. Because really, we're the ones on this side, we're helping push them and channel them into these schools. And I feel like when you have a relationship like coach to coach, it just makes it so much more magical and so much easier to recruit. And I remember that I went to a clinic once a long time ago, and I introduced myself to the coach, and I was letting her know, oh, I'm a coach at Lourdes, my mom's a coach at Corey, and she just kind of looked at me like I don't really care. And it was one of those things where it's like, I feel like that's almost your job. Like, you want to make a relationship with a high school coach. And even if it's a high school you've never heard of, you never know. I mean, look, that following year, we won national championships, you know? So, like, you want to make those relationships college coach to high school coach, and high school coach same way to college coach.
Well, too, it's the same way even with us with recruits. It's like I might have two people who are so similar that I'm looking at, but it's like, wait, actually, I know your background and I know where you came from and I know how this coach is. Like, I'm going to pick you simply because I know you a little bit more. And that's the same thing from your guys' standpoint. They might be between two schools that are so awesome, but you're like, I know this coach a little bit better, and I know what they stand for, and I know what their goals are. So I'm going to push her to go there instead simply because of that relationship that was built.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you have a connection.
Yeah.
And that's so important. But I think that's something that, I don't know if you ever go to the coaches conference, but I think that's something that I love about it, is that it connects the coaches.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about that before, that we don't have opportunities to connect with coaches. It's like every time you're together, it's in a competition setting. So it's kind of like, I can't talk to you.
Right. You're going to be like, hey, good to see you. And then you just like keep going.
Look at that. Yeah. But you need to have that networking, and you need to have that opportunity to have conversations. Yeah. And, I don't know how you could help me. You don't know how you could help me. But there is something there, but we're not going to know unless we sit down and we have conversations. Right. And it's put it on our plate. So there has to be better ways of doing that. And I think that UDA needs to take that,
1,000%.
Because we all go to them. We're all there competing. It's thousands of us. Find a way of getting us all to connect, so that we could help each other and we could have that networking going on.
Right, because even from the coaching side, you never know what that person just went through, and you might be going through something so similar, and if you just had a conversation, they could be like, hey, this worked for me. Yeah. This really turned back and backfired. Like, whatever you do, don't do this. And a simple conversation would have helped you get there.
Knowing you're not alone is great. Yeah. There's so many times where it's been like, oh my God, I can't believe this situation's happening to me. This has never happened to anybody. And then you talk to somebody, they're like, oh yeah. Been through that, and you're like, okay, so it's not just me, it's not just my team.
Yeah. We had that with Johnny at UM, that she was like, come help, and we went and we gave her feedback, and she was just so open to feedback. She's like, whatever I want whatever you could offer. What how can you help me? What can you do? How can my team do better? She's like, anything. She just wanted it. Yeah. And that's important because we've all been there. We've all had different experiences, and something that I may have gone through, I could help you and be like, hey, don't do that.
Right.
This is what's going to happen if you do that. And, it could help you not make the same mistake. And, having those conversations, I think, are really important.
And even on the coaching side of like nationals, like, I want every opinion I can possibly get, because how do I know that the judge isn't going to have that same opinion? Yeah. So whether I take it and I'm like, oh, I actually need to change this, or I'm like, I hear you, but I'm also not going to do anything. Right. At least the more opinions you can get before you put your dance out and are vulnerable in front of that position, the better off you're going to prepare your team.
Well, and the key is you want to make the dance as perfect as possible.
Right.
So, whatever it is that you can do to get it there.
And appeal to as many people as possible. Right. Because you don't know who's on that judging panel.
Right.
No.
We don't.
It could be anybody.
It literally could be anyone.
Because there's times I look back, I'm like, who are these people?
Right. Or I'm like, was it the song? Like, was that what was playing when your 10th grade boyfriend broke up with you?
You're
like,
right.
I don't know. Right. Like, did I just strike a nerve? I don't know. So, yeah.
Understanding the score sheet is so important, for things like that. But there's just some things that are out of your hands, no matter how much you try to hit that score sheet and you do everything that you're supposed to. But, it's exactly that. It's a song that just, pissed off that judge.
You never know.
Maybe somebody delivered their food in that moment and the food was wrong, and now they're in a bad mood. And you never know.
Well, Nyah, it's been so great to have you here. We love everything that you guys are doing over there at FSU. Our kids love it. We're looking forward to your season. I'm sure you guys are going to have an amazing season this year. And, anything that we could help with, you let us know, because we're here to help.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Course, thank you.
Thank you to all our viewers for being here today with us and with Nyah.
And if you like what you heard, make sure to follow our Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube. And if you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to click on our link tree in our bio and fill out our Google form.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.